What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. We've got week 2 NFL. We're going to be talking about the money lines, the spreads, the totals, teasers for these games, as well as player props for these games. So make sure you guys stick around to the end of the video if you want to get all of these plays. All right, guys, so before we jump into the start of these NFL picks, I do want to do some housekeeping. First being talking about our random comment picker. So right now, guys, I will be going to Houston in about 5 hours. I'll be leaving for Houston. I'll be in Houston all weekend. Won't be coming home until Monday. So these videos are going to be posted a little bit earlier. The comment picker, since I'm not going to be doing the videos the day of, I'm going to let these videos kind of marinate for a few days, and then all together, I'm going to pick the random comment from each video. So in the Discord, I will be picking the random YouTube comment winners. So after Thursday's game starts, I will pick the winner for the Thursday game, which is the Packers versus the Commanders. After the Friday college football games end or start, I'll pick a winner from the College Football Friday video, vice versa for Saturday video, and then the same for the Sunday and Monday NFL plays. So if you guys do want to figure out who won from the free comment picker, join our Discord. Our Discord is free to join. There's a link down in the description, and I'll be posting them in there, the winners of the VIP. That being said, if this video gets 200 likes, I will pick a random comment down below to win a free month of our premium, which is $25 a month, which you guys can get with our WAP link down in the description. You get every single pick that we play, every single money line, every single teaser, any bet that I personally place will be posted in the Discord for $25 a month or $10 a week, which is less than $1 a day. So if you guys want a chance at that, link down in the description for the Discord. Also, link to the WAP down in the description. All the WAP does is give you access to a VIP section of our Discord. So there's a free area, then there's a VIP area, which you guys unlock by paying through WAP. Some of our wins from last season, very successful. Week 1 NFL. You guys can see all these teasers and money lines. All these are cashed ones, by the way. All these cashed. All these slips over here cashed. We profited 6.2K last Sunday, but I talked about it in the last video. I'm not going to go over all this again. I just wanted to show you guys that we did kill week 1, and hopefully we can do the same thing with week 2, because I am loving the teasers and stuff that we have this week, because these games, man, I like this week's games. I like them, honestly, in terms of sports betting. I like them a little bit better than week 1, because I think there's some better value we're getting on some of these games. So we'll talk about that here right now. Anyways, jumping into game 1, Commanders, Packers. We already talked about that in a separate video. I put it in a video by itself. If you guys do want to get the picks for that video, just go to the channel, click the YouTube channel, and you'll see a Washington versus Green Bay video on its own with picks, money lines, everything on that, just for that single game by itself, posted early. So the way I do this, I do a video for Thursday night football, I do a video for Monday night football, and then I do a video for the Sunday game. So this is going to be for the Sunday games. You'll see a separate video for the Monday game, which is we have 2 games on Monday. So we have Tampa Bay, Houston, and then the Chargers and the Raiders. Is that correct? So yes, we do have two Monday night football games this week. So anyways, so jumping into the first game on this slate, we had the Chicago Bears taking on the Detroit Lions. This one's, I'm not going to jump into too much detail on these guys. You guys saw what Chicago did at home versus the Vikings in the second half. McCarthy looked absolutely horrendous for Minnesota in the first half. Looked terrible. Second half, he came back, looked pretty decent, and then Caleb Williams looked like McCarthy did in the first half and the second half. So Caleb Williams couldn't do nothing. They couldn't get anything going on their offense. They ended up getting beat by the Vikings 27-24, I believe, plus they missed a field goal. So Chicago just didn't look good, man. Detroit obviously lost their first game versus the Packers at Green Bay. So, I mean, that game was tougher, a little bit tougher. I had Green Bay winning that game. I think Green Bay's a powerhouse this season. I think Detroit's going to have a good season as well. I think they win pretty easily versus the Bears. I don't think this is going to be like one of those coin flip games. I'd bet Detroit majority of the time on this. The money line on this is sitting at minus 200 odds. Spread's 5.5. The over's 47.5. Public betting got 76% of the money on Detroit winning, 84% of the money on Detroit winning by a touchdown, which is tough, man. A 5.5 spread in NFL is tough. And then you got the over. 61% of the money is on the over on this game. So my opinion on this game, man, I got Detroit winning, obviously. I'll probably run this in a teaser. I think a teaser on this game would be great. If you get a 6-point teaser, that would bring Detroit to plus 1.5 or plus 0.5, I mean. So all you need is Detroit money line. You could run that with any other team you want. You could run it with a Green Bay teaser plus 3.5 or something like that, and you have a nice little minus 120 slip, which is pretty much even odds. So up to you guys what you really want to do on that one. I don't have to jump into this too much. I mean, I think majority of people have Detroit winning. You can look at their first game of the season. Detroit lost 13-27. I will say this game was way closer than the score indicates versus Green Bay. Too close. Well, one pick six that was overruled by a flag, and then one interception thrown by Jordan Love that went straight to the defender, and he just dropped the ball. So almost 2 picks for the Lions. Could have easily had a tie game there with those two. Minnesota, 27-24 lost to Minnesota when they were dominating that game. It was kind of like the Buffalo versus Baltimore game. Like, Ravens just threw their lead. Same thing for the Bears there. They just lost. They just got beat the second half. It is what it is. They did not look good. Caleb Williams looked horrendous, and I just don't trust him in this matchup on the road versus Detroit. I just think Detroit has a nice little dub here in that game. So that's what I have in that game. Detroit, you can take either their money line or you can play them in some type of teaser, which is probably what I'm going to end up doing. Jumping into game 2, we hit the New England Patriots taking on Miami in Miami. Now, this is a coin flip one for me, man. Miami minus 108, New England plus 110. The spread on this one sitting at 1.5 with a 43.5 total. Public betting on this game, you got 29% of the money on Miami, 71% of the money on the Patriots to win, 53% of the money on Patriots to cover the spread, and then you got majority of the money in the bets on the under 43.5, which could definitely happen. Now, looking at this game, guys, the Patriots, they really didn't look that great. Now, we're going to click 2025 season. I obviously played the Raiders in the first game. Patriots lost 20-13. Geno Smith threw for 380 yards. I could pull that up. It was something similar to that. He threw for a crap ton versus the Patriots, which I thought the Patriots were going to have a pretty solid defense, and they looked pretty rough, I'm not going to lie, defensively. So Geno Smith threw for 362. Gene T ran for 38 yards. Geno ran for 10. White ran for 8. Rushing, they didn't really do much. But in terms of throwing the ball, man, 362 passing yards for Geno Smith. If you look at the Dolphins, on the other hand, Dolphins legitimately looked like the worst team in the league in week 1. Got beat 33-8 to the Colts. Maybe the Colts are that good. I don't think so. I think Miami is that bad. Tua looked terrible, man. I hate that the guy's not doing good, man. All the injuries and stuff he's had, all the concussions, he's really struggled, man. And I was hoping he would see some success. I had Miami last week winning the game. I really did. I took them on my little pick'em league. I actually had the Colts at first. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to give Tua a chance. I ended up swapping from the Colts to Miami, and it bit me in the butt because the Colts ended up dominating that game. Now, Miami offensively looked terrible. Obviously, A-Chain and Tyreek Hill didn't have much of a chance. I think A-Chain ran for 60 yards or rushed for 60 yards versus the Colts. It was 8-33, man. In a blowout loss like that, Tua only threw for 120 passing yards. He did not throw for much at all. I could see him going under his passing line this game as well, unless they just come out here and have a complete 180 of what they did in the last game, which I just don't think that's going to happen going against New England either. This one's tough to call because I don't think Miami is truthfully as bad as they looked last week, but they could be. Maybe Zach Wilson comes in and plays in this game. I don't know, man. Maybe it's Tua. Maybe Tua was the problem. Maybe they just couldn't get anything going. I don't know, man. We'll find out this week. This one's hard for me to want to place a bet on. In my Pick'em league, I'm probably going to take the Patriots, but I don't know yet. So this one's questionable for me. I don't want to put money on it. I would definitely take New England plus 7.5 if you ran a teaser on this. Plus 7.5, you're giving them a touchdown. I don't think Miami smacks New England by more than a touchdown. I really don't. If you ran a teaser on this game, it would be plus 7.5 New England, and then probably under 49.5 total, because I don't think this is going to be a super high-scoring game. You get 6 points on both of those, it'd be minus 120. If you want to do it that way, you can. But that's going to be this one's going to be coin flip for me. I'm just going to call New England. If I had to pick a team right now, I'm just going to say New England. But that's not a confident New England pick, so you guys can do what you want with that information. Jumping into the next game, we got the Buffalo Bills on the road versus the Jets. Buffalo with a tremendous comeback win versus the Ravens. That game was over. It should have been over. The Bills came back and got them a dub at home versus one of the toughest teams in the league. Right now, the spread on this is minus 289 for Buffalo to win on the road. The spread is 6.5, and then it's over 46.5 total. Looking at the public betting, you got 89% of the money on the Bills to win the game, 64% of the money on the Jets to cover a 6.5 point spread, and then you got 88% of the money on the over on this game. So this game is I'm not going to say tough to call. I got the Bills winning the game. I really do. But the Jets didn't look that bad versus the Steelers. And I saw a lot of people giving Justin Fields hate. and saying, I don't see the hate, man. Justin Fields looked very, very good in his first game versus Pittsburgh. They lost a close 34-32 shootout game. Aaron Rodgers looked phenomenal in that game. So it's one of those, like, we'll see. This is still week 2. Week 1 didn't look super good for the Jets defense. Gave up 34 points to the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers offense is that good. I mean, maybe Aaron Rodgers is a different animal this season, but I really just don't see him doing what he did last game every single game. I hope he does. I like Aaron Rodgers. I really do. I hope he has a great year and a great season. But realistically, I just don't think that's going to happen every single game. So Justin Fields looked pretty good versus the Bills. The Bills struggled to stop the run. They struggled to stop everything offensively versus the Ravens. That last drive, if Derrick Henry would not have fumbled the ball, then I'm pretty sure the Ravens just win. Like, the fumble really killed them. So Buffalo got a nice little break here. Defensively, they struggled. I think the Jets are going to be able to move the ball pretty consistently versus Buffalo. I think Buffalo is going to move the ball pretty consistently versus the Jets. I could see this total going over 46.5. Whoa, I did not mean to click that. But I could see the total going over. You guys already see most of the money is on the over on this one. I kind of agree with it. If I was going to run a teaser, you could tease this down to Buffalo over 0.5. So it'd be Buffalo minus 0.5, which would be pretty much Buffalo money line. And then Buffalo money line with the over 40.6 or 40.5. So, I think that'd be a very, very good teaser on this one if you want to run it. Not for sure that I'm going to run that yet. You could obviously run the Jets plus 12.5. I think the Jets cover 12.5 points. I don't think they're going to get beat by 2 touchdowns. So you can run it that way you want as well. You could also run under 52.5 on this as well if you do run a teaser. And I'm talking about in teaser form, guys. So I'm going to make a slip pop up. This is what I gave for free on the Green Bay. And you guys can see how a teaser works. So the original line is Green Bay minus 3.5, under 48. This is a 7-point teaser, which is minus 140. The odds of a normal teaser are minus 120. You get 6 points on both directions. So both lines get 6 points. So that being said, Green Bay would get 6 points, so they go from minus 3.5 to plus 3.5. So now they can lose by a field goal and still catch this prop. The under 48 goes into under 55. They get, or under 54 if you do 6, but under 55 for this 7 points teaser that I did. And you can see that both of these lines pretty much get 7 points. That's how a teaser works if you don't know what a teaser is. That's why I'm talking about the teasers right here. Like, Buffalo would get 6, so they just need to win the game. And then the over would go down to 40.5. So if you ran those two together, you'd have minus 120 odds. And realistically, I think that's a pretty good line. So if you guys want to do that, you can. I got Bills winning this game. I think the Jets keep it close enough for it to be a competitive game. And I like this play. I think Breece Hall has a good game. I think Justin Fields probably has a pretty decent game. We'll talk about player props here in a little bit, but I like this game, man. I think this is going to be a good one and a fun one to watch. Looking at the next one, we got the New York Giants on the road versus the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys with almost the biggest upset of the season, beating the reigning Super Bowl champions in the Eagles at home. Or Cowboys on the road. The Eagles at home almost lost to the Cowboys. They should have lost, if we're being honest. If CD would have made that catch, it probably would have been a game for the Cowboys to win. That being said, obviously, Carter got ejected from the game before the game started, which hurt the Eagles. I'm not saying the Cowboys are a better team by any means. Obviously, you can see my Cowboys hat. I'm not that big of a fanboy. I know that the Eagles are a better team than the Cowboys, but the Cowboys impressed me. At home versus the Giants. Giants looked horrendous in game 1. We can go ahead and just click this and look at their 2021 game. Washington beat them 21-6. Giants struggled a lot in that game. Close this out. Cowboys 20-24. They lost the game versus the Eagles. The Cowboys look pretty dang good. My opinion on this game: Cowboys money line. Cowboys win this game in a pretty good fashion. Minus 5.5. I'm not going to say they cover a 5.5 point spread. I'm not going to take that, especially for the Cowboys. If I ran this in a teaser, that would be Cowboys just money line, and then the over on this would be 38.5. So you could take that if you want. Under 50.5. I think Javonte Williams is going to have a good game in this game versus the Giants. The Giants struggled to stop the run, I believe. Let me pull up the Giants real quick and look at how many rushing yards they actually gave versus the Commanders in game 1, because I think it was a pretty decent amount of yards. If I can find this game, man, your boy's struggling a little bit. So Giants game 1 versus the Washington Commanders. Stats right here. I can pull it up. Commanders ended up rushing. Krosky Merritt ran for 82 yards. Jaden Daniels ended up running for 68 yards. Eckler rushed for 26. They ran so much on this Giants defense. Giants could not stop the run. Giants could not stop the pass. Giants couldn't stop anything, and the Giants couldn't score. Cowboys defense, I don't think is going to be super strong. I think the Giants will be able to move the ball versus the Cowboys. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I'm pretty sure they will be able to. But I don't think the Giants can stop the Cowboys either. I think Dak Prescott can do what he wants. I think CeeDee Lamb's going to have a good game. I think Pickens is going to have a good game. I think Javonte Williams' rushing yards is going to be a good one. I don't know what his yards is at yet because it's not quite on the board on any platform. So I can't really look at Javonte Williams. But I think Cowboys move the ball pretty easily. I got Cowboys money line. I think the over on this game at 38.5 would be a great teaser if you wanted to run it that way. And I don't have this locked in yet, but that's kind of what I'm looking for in this game. So Cowboys money line with the teaser. Jumping into the next game of the day, San Francisco 49ers taking on the Saints. Saints at home versus the 49ers, plus 203 for New Orleans. The spread on this game is sitting at 4.5 in favor of San Francisco, and the total sitting at 42.5. So let's look at the Niners and let's look at the Saints, looking at their first game of the season. Niners ended up beating Seattle in a tough matchup, 17-13 in Seattle. If you look at Saints ended up losing their first game versus the Cardinals, 13-20. Which I had Arizona, and I had the Niners in this game, which Seattle had me a little bit worried, I'm not going to lie. So this it's tough to get a read on the Niners right now because I'm pretty sure they have some questionable players, and I'm not 100% on that. McCaffrey, I'm not sure what's going to happen with McCaffrey. Not sure what's going to happen quarterback-wise, so I'm kind of waiting on this one before I make a pick. Obviously, honestly, I have the Niners winning the game, to be honest. I don't think the Saints are going to upset them plus 203. The Saints just looked horrendous in game one as well. Niners didn't look bad, but they didn't look good either, in my opinion. So, me personally, I think Brock Purdy plays. I think he has a good game, and I think he cashes us out on this one. That's just my opinion. We can come to. I want to see if Brock Purdy's even on the questionable list for this game. Yeah, Brock Purdy is questionable for his toe. George Kittle is injury reserved. You got a lot of players that may not play, which makes this a little bit harder to call. So my opinion is Brock Purdy plays, Niners win the game. I don't know that they're going to cover a 4.5 point spread. I think this game stays actually kind of competitive in New Orleans. I think Kamara could have a pretty good game. Total in this game at 42.5. He bought it down to 36.5 with a teaser and then took San Francisco getting 2.5. Or you could buy the 7 and minus 140 like I did on that previous slip, and you could get San Francisco plus 3.5 and then still get, or 7 will be plus 2.5. So never mind. You'd have to buy 8 for that. I probably wouldn't buy 8. I'd probably just take it with the San Francisco money line or New Orleans getting plus 10.5. I think that'd be a good play as well. I don't think they get beat by 10.5 points personally. And then the over on this game, I think's pretty good. You could maybe do the under 48.5. I'm not sure what I want to do yet on that one. Public betting on this, you got 90% of the money on the Niners. And I just want to tell you guys something. When 90% of the money's on the Niners or on a team in general, you got to be careful, man, because you'll watch some of these refs on some of these games like that. You'll see some calls and you'll be like, why did they get that call? That call's stupid. And then you look at the money that's on that the team that got the call and you're like, oh, that team needs to win for Vegas. And this is kind of conspiracy talking. I'm just saying, man, pay attention to these money. When 90% or more of the money's on a team, upsets happen. So if the Saints won, it really wouldn't surprise me just because of this. Not because the Saints are a better team, but because of this. So just be careful with it. My call is for the Saints. I probably won't bet on this one, I'm going to be honest with you, unless there's some confirmed stuff. I might make a teaser for it, but for the most part, I'm probably going to fade this game because there's too much other value on the board. Jumping into the next game we have, Browns versus Ravens. Ravens, pub stomp in my opinion. I think the Ravens come out here and I think they smack the Browns in the mouth just because of what happened to them in game one. The Ravens will not start this season 0-2, minus 700 favorites, 11.5 spread. That's rough. I'm not touching the spread on this one. Over 45.5. Public betting, you got 91% of the money on the Ravens. This is a spot where the money doesn't even scare me because I just don't think the Ravens get beat by the Browns. If you look at the spread on this, 51% of the money on the Ravens to cover the minus 11.5 spread, which is tough. And then you got the over 71% of the money. If I was going to touch a spread on this one, or if I was going to touch a teaser on this one, I would take Cleveland plus 17.5. I don't think they get beat by 17.5 points. We can come over here and look at their first game of the season. Browns lost 16-17. They should have beat the Bengals. That's a game the Bengals got lucky to even win. I'm not even going to lie, man. The Bengals did not look good. The Browns obviously not a good team at home. They still lost 16-17 when the Bengals didn't play well. And then you got the Ravens who lost 40-41. So both teams losing by 1 point in their first game. I got the Ravens, obviously, but in terms of spread on this one, I just don't see the Ravens covering by 2 touchdowns. So 17.5 for Cleveland, and then probably the over 38.5 is probably going to be a good play, or the under 51.5 would probably be a good play. So you guys can figure that out. You can make the teaser if you want. If you want to get exactly what I play, WAP links down in the description. You guys know what to do, but I'm running with the Ravens in this game pretty confidently. Next game we got is the Seahawks taking on the Steelers. You got Seattle plus 146. You got the Seattle plus 3 underdogs, and you got the total in this game sitting at 40.5. So a very, very low total. They got this game not going to be very high scoring. Steelers at home, 83% of the money on the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers impressed a lot of people over the weekend. There's been a lot of talk about Aaron Rodgers, the way he looked. 67% of the money on the spread on this game, and then you got 81% of the money under the 40.5. So very low scoring game. That much money on a low scoring game kind of worries me a little bit. Looking at Seattle, obviously Seattle's quarterback Arnold did not look very good. Sam Darnold, did not look very good. If we look at I think he had like 190 passing yards versus the Niners. I'm not 100% if I got that correct. It probably be easier instead of me pulling this up on my phone. I'm gonna just pull these quarterbacks up right here, because we can see his pass yards right here. I think it's better for the video. So yeah, he had 150 passing yards versus San Francisco. 23 pass attempts, 16 completions. 70% completion rate, but he still didn't look very good, man. Sam Darnold did not impress me. Didn't look like he looked for the Vikings last year. The Vikings last year, he cashed this line 83% of games, and I'm looking at the 195 here, and this is not a player prop I'm saying take. I'm just looking at what he did in game one. So anyways, Steelers defensively didn't look that great versus Justin Fields. Remember, that total for that game was like 60-something. It was 66-point total versus the Jets. So that game was tough. I can see both teams scoring. I honestly lead the over on this game. I think Darnold has a better game. I think he throws for over 200 in this one. I think he actually does cash this prop, but I haven't locked it in yet. If you look at the Steelers last season passing yards, they gave up 228 per game, which is 25th ranked in the league. They gave up a lot of passing yards. No head-to-head data for Sam Darnold, but regardless, guys, picking a winner on this is tough, man. I want to roll with Aaron Rodgers, but I don't trust him either, man. I don't trust the team. Close victory versus the Jets. I'm probably going to roll with the Steelers on this one, not unconfidently. I'm not going to even play a teaser on this one. If I played a teaser, it would be the over 30.5 and then probably Pittsburgh plus 3. That would be the teaser that I would take. Or maybe Seattle plus 9. I think Seattle plus 9 I like better than Pittsburgh plus 3. So I'll probably take Seattle plus 9 and then the over 34.5, because 34.5, let's be real, that's a very, very low total. So that's probably what I run on the spread. In terms of picking a winner, I'm probably going to take... That's tough, man. I'm in that pigskin pick 'em. It makes it very hard. Some of the games like this are tough. I'm probably going to roll with the Steelers. I don't know for sure yet. I'm not 100% on that. But for now, I'm going to say Steelers. It might change in the next few days, so don't take that with a grain of salt is what I'm saying. Next game we have Rams taking on the Titans. The Tennessee Titans are plus 233 underdogs at home, plus 5.5 point underdogs, and the over on this is sitting at 41.5. Public betting has 94% of the money on the Rams to win, 68% of the money on the Rams to cover the spread, and then you got 42% of the money on the over 41.5. So majority is on the under on the total right now at 41.5. Looking at how both these teams did in game one. So I actually didn't pay much attention to the Rams last season, or game one, week one. I played against Houston. I had Houston winning the game, but struggled. It was a 9 to 14 point total. Very, very low scoring game. Houston had 3 field goals. If you look at the Broncos versus Titans, Broncos ended up beating the Titans 20-12. Neither team looked super strong, especially the Broncos just didn't look as good as I thought they did. Cam Ward, obviously, I don't remember exactly how many passing yards he threw for in that game. I think it was like 180 or something like that. It could be more. Let's pull him up. Passing yards over 200. He had 112, not even nearly as many as I had. Going against the Rams in game one versus Houston, I don't think Houston moved the ball at all very well. Obviously, they had 3 field goals. So, very low-scoring game. This one's tough to bet on, in my opinion. I'll probably fade this one. Picking a winner, Titans at home is tough, man. Cam Ward at home versus the Rams. Rams struggled offensively, too. I could see the Titans getting the upset at plus 223. At this 5.5 underdog thing, definitely, if I played a teaser, it'd be the Titans getting 11.5. I don't think there's any way possible the Rams win by 11.5 or win by 12 points, which, obviously is definitely possible, but I just don't think that would happen. The over on this one at 41.5, I'd probably buy it to 35.5 if I was going to do a teaser and just play those two in a teaser. Picking the winner, it's tough, man. I'm going to have to take... I'm going to take the Rams unconfidently, and that could change as well. A couple of these games could change by Sunday. I don't know what I'm going to do yet for my Pick'em league. Obviously, I'm not going to bet on the Rams at minus $200. That would be stupid. I just play them in a teaser instead. But Titans plus 223 could be a good underdog pick, and I definitely could see the Titans pulling out a dub in this one. Just throwing it out there. Next game, Jacksonville taking on Cincinnati. Jaguars, Bengals are at home. Bengals are a minus 168 favorites at home. Cincinnati minus 135. I call them Bengals in Cincinnati, then Bengals in Cincinnati. The Bengals are minus 3.5 point favorites. Over on this sitting at 48.5. I see a shootout in this game. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Right now, 85% of the money on the Bengals, 52% of the money on Bengals covering the spread, and then 63% of the money over 48.5. My opinion on this game, I like Jacksonville, man. I called Jacksonville to be a strong team in week 1. I said I thought they'd come out there and shut the Panthers up. They did. Won 26-10. Looked good. Travis Etienne looked amazing. He had like 90-something rushing yards in game. I think it was 90-something. I don't even know for a fact. I think it could have been more than that. We can pull Etienne up and take a look at what he looked like in game 1. So rush yards. Game 1, he had 143. Now, my numbers are way off. 143 versus Carolina. I mean, he absolutely ran it down their throat. If you look at Cleveland almost beat look at the Bengals, they barely beat Cleveland. So Bengals did not look very good in game 1. To me, Jacksonville looked good. I think Trevor Lawrence looked pretty good as well. I like the Jaguars to come out here and get a win. That's who I'm taking in the pick'em, just because I don't think many people are going to take the Jaguars. There's plus 166 odds. You could run their money line if you want for plus money. In terms of spread, plus 3.5. Crazy, man. I would take the plus 9.5 all day with this. I'd maybe go ahead and buy it for minus 140 and make it plus 10.5. Then they get 10 points. They have to lose by a touchdown or more than a touchdown and a field goal, which probably won't happen. So that's probably what I'll do. I'll run a 7-point teaser on this one, take Jacksonville plus 10.5, and I'll probably take the over 41.5 because I do think both teams move the ball pretty easily. I think obviously, Joe Burrow is going to have a good game. I don't think Jacksonville is going to be able to stop Joe Burrow. And then the way the Bengals looked versus Cleveland, I think that Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne is going to be running all over them and throwing all over them. So thinking a high-scoring game on this one, I like the over 41.5 and then the plus 10.5 for Jacksonville in terms of this. And I'm going to take Jacksonville as my win on my pigskin pick 'em if you guys are just looking for a winner in this game. Obviously, I think a lot of people are going to be on the Bengals. If you disagree with me, trust your gut. I'm just calling a game. I think this is a good spot for Jacksonville to get a win, and I liked the way they looked in game 1. Jumping into the next game, Broncos taking on the Colts. Denver minus 114, minus 1.5 point favorites. Total in this game is sitting at 42.5. Public betting got 69% of the money on the Colts, 58% of the money on the Colts covering the spread, and then you got 81% of the money on the under 42.5. We've already looked at the Broncos. Broncos did not look very good in game 1. Colts looked either super good in game 1 or the Miami looked so bad that it made the Colts look amazing. Looking at this games, first 2 games, obviously, Tennessee got beat 20-12 to the Broncos. Broncos won their first game by 8 points at home. And then you look at Miami. Miami ended up losing to the Colts 33-8. So I like this. I don't know, man. I was going to say I like a team, but I don't like a team in this one. This one's coin flip for me as well. I don't know if the Colts are as good as they looked versus Miami, or if Miami is honestly just that tragic. And I think it could be Miami. Might just be that tragic. And looking at the Broncos didn't look super strong in game 1. I don't trust them a lot in this. Barely beating the Titans, and they were at home. Bo Nix struggled. This could be a season. Bo Nix looked really, really good last year. The first game, he did not look good, and they struggled to move the ball a lot. Colts defense only gave up 8 points to Miami. I don't know that the Denver offense is better than Miami's, even with the way Tua is playing. I'm going to be honest with you. So I can see the Colts coming out here and winning plus 114. Broncos are obviously small favorites. Colts getting 6 will be plus 7.5 for the Colts, so they have to lose by more than a touchdown to lose this game to lose our teaser. If we ran a teaser over 36.5 or under 48.5, I don't think this is going to be a super high scoring game. I think under 48.5 could be a good one, or over 36.5. 36.5 is a very low total. You could run that in a teaser as well. Either way you guys want to do it. Obviously, I play a lot of teasers. If you guys can see, you guys saw it in my wins. I play a lot. I'll probably teaser for almost every game, and I'll throw 500 to 1,000 on each one and hope we have a good week. But regardless, guys, this one's tough. If I had to pick a winner, my wife's a Broncos fan. I can't I can't not take the Broncos just because of that, minus 114. I'm going to run with the Broncos, even though deep down I kind of think the Colts win. I'm going to be honest with you, but I'm hoping maybe the Bo Nix just had a slow start in game one, and this week he comes back, but it's unacceptable. Rookie season, you can kind of see that happening. Year two, man, Bo Nix has got to step it up, and this Denver defense has got to step it up as well. So I'm going to run with the Broncos. I'm going to say the Broncos, even though deep down I'm kind of feeling the Colts. You guys can do what you want with that information, but I do think Indiana covers the plus 7.5 point teaser with the over 36 or under 48. I think it stays between 36 and 48. So that's what I got for that game. Next game, we got Cardinals versus Panthers. There was a lot of hype on the Panthers this season, and I didn't personally see it, man. I didn't see the Panthers having a great season. Bryce Young, I've never been a super big fan of him. Not as a person, obviously. I don't know him that way. I'm just as a player, I wasn't impressed by anything. I didn't think he was going to come out here and have a great season this year. Looked rough in game one. Cardinals, Kyler Murray. I'm not a super big fan of Kyler Murray. I do have him in my fantasy because he was like all that was left over whenever I finished picking my receivers and running backs. So I went with Kyler Murray. Think Kyler Murray's going to have a good game. Arizona sitting minus 285 favorites, minus 6.5 point spread favorites. Then the over on this game is sitting at 44.5. 88% of the money on the Cardinals. 82% of the money on the Cardinals covering the spread, and then 61% of the money on the over on the total on this game. I'm running with the Cardinals. Don't think it's close in my. I'm not going to say not close in terms of scoring, but I don't think that in terms of confidence in this pick, it's not even close. I'm not on the edge at all. Like, I'm heavily in favor of the Cardinals. Cardinals beat the Saints 20-13. Didn't look that great. We saw what Jacksonville did to the Panthers, and I don't think the Cardinals are any worse than Jacksonville. Probably better. So that maybe not this year. We'll see, man. I'm hyped up for the Jags this year, but regardless, dude, like, I just think the Cardinals come out here in pretty dominant fashion and just beat the Panthers. And maybe the Panthers upset them at home, 268 or 265 underdogs, but we'll see. In terms of a game for this one, I'd probably just take Arizona minus 0.5, which would be Arizona money line, and then take the over 38.5 because I could see Panthers scoring a little bit too. So. That's what I got for that game. Not really a whole lot for me to talk about. In terms of the next game, we got the Eagles taking on the Chiefs. We got Super Bowl game. We got the rematch from the Super Bowl is what I meant to say. Kansas City plus 108 underdogs. Kansas City plus 1.5 underdogs at home. Over 46.5. Looking at the public on this game, 63% of the money is on the Eagles. 71% of the money is on the Eagles covering the 1.5 spread. And then 75% of the money is on the total in this game. And we can look at this. We can go to head-to-head, first of all. Look at the Super Bowl. It was 40-22. They couldn't stop the Eagles at all. You look at the first game of the season, 20 points given up by the Eagles to Dallas. And then if you look at Chiefs versus Chargers, they go up 27 points to the Chargers. So this is probably going to be a pretty high-scoring game, if we're being honest, in my opinion. Let me scroll back down here. But looking at this game, man, it's hard for me to trust the Chiefs. We can go to injury news, look at the Chiefs. Obviously, Xavier Worthy's questionable. I think Worthy plays. We saw what happened to him the last game. He got injured one of the first plays running into Travis Kelce. I have Xavier Worthy in fantasy, and I'm probably not even going to start him this week just because I don't know how he's going to do. I think he plays in this big game versus the Eagles. I don't know what the extent of his injury is, but he looked fine on the sidelines. He just didn't pad up. They probably just didn't want to risk it. I think Royal's going to play. I don't know for sure. He's questionable as well. Obviously, the Chiefs missing a lot, man. Rashidi Rice is obviously suspended for 6 games. He won't be playing in this one. Philadelphia looks pretty dang good. They barely beat the Cowboys, but they're still a tough team. Now, thinking of the Chiefs going 0-2 to start the season is pretty unlikely. I'm not going to say unlikely because they're playing the Eagles, but it's crazy to see that. I wouldn't want to see that, or I wouldn't think I would ever see the Chiefs starting out 0-2 this season. But I think it's going to happen, man. I think the Eagles win this one. I'm taking the Eagles. I can't trust the Chiefs after what they did versus the Chargers. I'm taking the Eagles in this one. I think they're going to look better this week than they did last week versus Dallas because it was that close, and I think they're going to realize, hey, man, if we play like we did versus Dallas, we're not going to be a Super Bowl winner this year. So, anyways, I think the Eagles win the game. In terms of taking a teaser on this game, I'd probably take Philly plus 6 or plus 5.5, or what would it be? Would it be 4.5 plus 4.5 so they can lose by a field goal and still cash this? And then I'd probably take the over 40.5. I think that'd be my teaser play. I haven't locked it in. Obviously, these are just speculation. I'm telling you guys what I'm probably going to do, but I may not. Like I said, if you guys want to see the exact slips and get the exact slips for every single game, they're in our Discord if you want to join our Discord. Next game we got the Falcons taking on the Vikings. or I did pick my winner right. Yeah, I took the Eagles. Taking the Eagles on this one. I think the Eagles have a good game. Player props, not any player props I'm probably going to take from this one. Maybe Mahomes has a good passing game. Dak had a pretty good passing game if it wasn't for dropped passes. So think about it that way. Next game, Falcons versus the Vikings. Vikings right now minus 198 at home, minus 4.5 points favorites, over 44.5 total. 59% of the money on the Falcons to win, 76% of the money on the Falcons to cover plus 4.5, and then you got 65% of the money on under 44.5. Vikings looked terrible, man. They looked horrible in the first game. The first half, they looked horrendous. Second half, they looked a little bit better, but they didn't look good. J.J. McCarthy struggled. He didn't look nearly as good as Sam Darnold looked last year. I think McCarthy's still going to be a little bit nervous coming into. I knew that was his first start. You got to give the guy some credit. Like, he was nervous. I mean, you could tell he was nervous. Looking at him, to me, he looked like he was shaking, like he was so nervous. So you got to understand that. Like he just got to get in the groove of things. Got to get used to it. NFL's not college. Like, he's not going to do like what he did when he played for Michigan in the NFL. Like, it's just not going to happen. Like, he's going to need some time to adapt to this and things like that. Obviously, he came off an injury too, so I'm bearing with him. They still won game 127-24 versus the Bears. I don't think this game's going to be like that. Tampa Bay barely beat the Falcons. It was 23-20, and they shouldn't have lost. It should have been an overtime when Koo missed a field goal. That was like a 30-something yard field goal. Koo lost them the game. It is what it is, man. Head-to-head, they played once last year. Minnesota beat them 42-21. I don't expect that this game, guys. I'm taking the Falcons in this game to win just based off what I saw from J.J. McCarthy. If McCarthy looked a little bit better offensively, I would say that this would be a shootout and the over would look really good for me. But McCarthy just didn't look that good, man. So to me, I got to take the Falcons. A teaser on this, Falcons plus 10.5 is probably one of my favorite plays on the board. Plus 10.5 over 40 or 38.5 is probably what I would take. Maybe under 50.5. I'm not sure about the over-under on this one, but Falcons plus 10.5 is definitely what I would take on the teaser. I got Falcons winning in this on my pick skin pick 'em as well. I think that's a good play for an underdog if you want to take their money line plus 194. Penix looked really good, but John Robinson I think is going to have a really good game. McCarthy didn't look that good. Aaron Jones didn't look that good. Jordan Mason looked good for the Vikings, but I mean, how many rushing yards did Mason actually have last game? No, he had more than Aaron Jones because I had Aaron Jones and I was like, why is he getting 0 carries? And you can't see the rushing yards. But anyways, he had quite a few. He had more than Aaron Jones, I'm pretty sure. And Mason is a pretty good running back coming from the Niners. So that being said, I like this play a lot, or I like the Falcons a lot in this matchup. I think it's a good place for an underdog. And I'm going to be taking them. I may change my mind. I'm telling you guys, take it with a grain of salt. It's Wednesday. I'm getting these out very, very early, so I don't really know for sure what I'm going to be doing on this. Next game that we have, that's all for Sunday. Yeah, the next two games are actually for the Monday night game. So that's going to be the end of the games for Sunday. We're actually going to head on over and do some player props. Now, bear with me on player props, guys. All the props aren't up. This isn't my – with the full board was out, these probably wouldn't be the only plays I took for the free picks. I'm just giving you what I can. Off the board right now, these are some of my favorite ones. So let's talk about them. First one I have is going to be for Trevor Lawrence. I like Trevor Lawrence. Jacksonville, obviously, his quarterback, if you're new to football. I like him over 224.5 passing yards. His line's sitting at 240. He cashed this line in 3 of 10 games last season, and he missed it his only game this season versus Carolina. Now, they won their first game 26-10. ETNA rushed for 140 yards. He had a 71-yard longest rush. Playing against the Bengals. Bengals gave up a ton of passing yards in game 1. I'm pretty sure they did. I think Trevor Lawrence is going to have a good game, man. I think he throws for 225. I think this is going to be a shootout. I don't think they're going to stop the Bengals. I think Joe Burrow is going to have a good game, and I think this could be a game that if Jacksonville wins, it's going to be close. I don't think it's going to be a blowout win or anything like that. If Jacksonville gets beat, they're going to be playing from a decent margin behind. And that being said, I think they're going to have to throw the ball. It's not going to be one where Travis Etienne just runs it up their throat. I just don't think that's going to happen. So if you look at Cincinnati from last season, gave up 223 passing yards per game, 21st ranked in the defense in the league, giving up over 200 yards per game. Trevor Lawrence should do that. They passed the ball 58% of games last season, but they also lost a lot of games. So you got to understand that most of these games they were losing, and I think I don't know what their schedule or the score or what their record was from last year. But regardless, man, I like Trevor Lawrence in this matchup. You can get him on Prize Picks, you can get him on Underdog, you can get him on Parlay Play, whichever one you want, Trevor Lawrence. at 225.5. If you pair it with a regular line, that will give you a 2x. So you just got to remember you're buying this down. If you want to take him at 240, I can see him throwing for 241 as well. But I like buying it down by 15. I hate hooks, hate getting hooked and losing all my money when I could have just played a safer line and had a double up rather than a 2.5 or 3x. Like that 1x, like it makes a difference in the long term, but it also makes a difference when you're not losing all your money in the long term too. So that's why I play a lot of these little discounted lines. And Trevor Lawrence is one of them that I'm going to take. You can buy him up for a regular line if you guys choose to do so. That being said, jumping into our second pick of the day, I like Joe Flacco. I love the Flacco play, Cleveland Browns. He had like 290-something passing yards in game one. Let's see what he is. So game one, he had 290 passing yards on the dot. His line is sitting at 231.5 versus Baltimore. Baltimore gave up a ton of passing yards to Josh Allen. Josh Allen had 400-something yards offense by himself. He was the Buffalo Bills in their last game. If you look at Baltimore, they gave up 244 yards per game on average, which is the 31st ranked defense in the league, which is the second worst passing defense in the league last year. If you look at this Cleveland game, their Cleveland team, they passed the ball 65% of games, 65% of the time in their games last season. Obviously, they lost majority of their games, so they had to throw the ball. But looking at 2024, Flacco had a good end of the season, man. 272 versus Buffalo, 330 versus the Giants, 264 versus the Jaguars, playing versus Baltimore. I think he has another good game, man. I think 231's low for a guy that's going to be throwing. I don't think they're going to be running the ball with too much success. I think they're going to be playing from behind in this one a lot too. And I like this play for man Joe Flacco at 231.5. And you can buy him down if you want. You can do what you want with him. But I like Flacco right now, man. So pull up Flacco. 231.5. If you played these together, you have a 2.5x. I don't know that you can get Flacco right now on parlay play. You can't. I don't think you can get Trevor Lawrence. Probably parlay play just doesn't have a lot of their lines up right now. I do want to say, guys, if you want a free month of our VIP, you can sign up for any of our partnered apps. Links down in the description. Underdog, Sleeper, Chalkboard, Better, Novig, Dabble, and Parlay Play. Any of those apps get you a free month. You can get up to 7 full months for free if you sign up using our code. Parlay Play gives you $5 for free just by signing up with our code. And Chalkboard gives you $25 just by signing up with our code. No deposit required. So I highly recommend you guys take advantage of at least Chalkboard. Take your free $25 and then play it. Just use code FANTASYACES. But Joe Flacco is pick number 2. I think he throws for 232 in this game, in this matchup. I think Baltimore has a pretty successful lead on them. And I don't think Cleveland's just going to roll over. Obviously, they're going to try to get their offense going. Flacco's going to need it. And 231, I like to play. So that's going to be second player prop. Third player prop of the day. I got 2 plays that I like for this game. You guys can choose the one you want. I like both Michael Penix Jr., and I like Bijan Robinson. And I'm not going to play them together. You can pick the one you want. I like Penix to give us 227.5 passing yards, and then I like Bijan to give us 70.5 rushing yards. So either one of those, you can pick the one you want. Penix threw for 298 yards versus Tampa Bay, playing versus the Vikings. We saw Caleb Williams have a lot of success for the Vikings. The only reason he didn't have success in the second half, it was not because of the Vikings defense. It's because Caleb Williams looked like ass. Let's be honest. He looked terrible. He looked like McCarthy did in the first half. I stand by that. I'm not going to say the Vikings defense didn't play better to the second half, but I don't think that if Caleb Williams would have played good, I don't think the Vikings were going to stop him. That's just my personal opinion. So Minnesota gave up 242 passing yards per game last season, 28th in the league. They might have a better defense this year. I don't know in terms of passing. We'll see. Game 1 didn't impress me that much. I think Penix has a good game. Like I said, I can see Falcons winning this game. I do think it's going to be close. I think they're going to have to air the ball out. And I like Penix Jr. for over 227.5 passing yards, which you guys can lock in if you want. A lot of quarterbacks because there's not much on the board. There's not a lot of reception plays. I have to kind of look at what I have to give. And I really like these 3 plays. I'm just throwing it out there. I think these are very good plays. 4.5x if you lock these in together. 250 wins you $1,100. That being said, jumping into the Bijan Robinson play. Pull up Robinson, 70.5 rushing yards. He had 24 in game 1. Last season, he cashed just 11 of 17 games, and he averaged 85 rushing yards per game. Vikings had a good rushing defense last year. This one I don't like as much as Penix, I don't think, if I had to pick one. They gave up a lot of rushing yards in game 1, or a decent amount anyway, so I'm kind of, I don't know, man. I would probably stick with Penix on this one because I don't know that Bijan gives us 70. He had 170 that last game versus Carolina. They still lost, though. I don't know, man. Like, this one's tough. It's a tough call on this one. If I had to pick one, I like Penix better, but I think Bijan has a really good chance of giving us 70 rushing yards. I really do. Something's just telling me he's going to have a good game, and this is more of a gut feeling. If you're going by statistics, I probably lean towards Penix. I think Penix is a good game, and I like that one. So that being said, final play of the day I'm taking is going to be for our man Breece Hall. Told you guys, as I was talking about the Jets game, I think Breece Hall has a good game. If you looked at him in game 1 of this season, he had 145 passing rush yards combined, 107 rush yards, 38 receiving yards. I meant rushing receiving yards, not passing rush yards, by the way. That was versus Pittsburgh. Sorry, man. My nose is itching. But anyways, if you look at this game, obviously they're playing at home versus Buffalo. Buffalo gave up 115 yards per game last season rushing and 241 in receiving. So two kind of weak defenses. To running backs, they have the worst receiving yards defense. They give up more receiving yards to running backs than any other team in the league last year. And they gave up 96 rushing yards per game. So defensively, they kind of struggled. Head-to-head, Breece Hall had 169 rushing receiving yards his first game versus Buffalo last season. That was at home. The game after that, he had 53 on the road versus Buffalo. So if we look at this and kind of compare it to the first game last season, I think Breece Hall is going to have a good game. I think he's going to get a lot of receptions. I think he gets 3 or 4 targets again, maybe more than that. I think the Buffalo is going to win. So the Jets are going to be playing from behind. I think that's going to lead to some kind of little screen check passes to our man Breece Hall. I think he catches this line, man. 78.5 is a little bit high. I still like this line, especially looking at how he looked in game 1 and how he looked last year versus the Bills. But regardless, Breece Hall, 78.5 rush and receiving yards is going to be my 4th pick of the day, or 5th pick if you keep Robinson in this one. But like this play, if you play them all together, you got an 8.5x over on Prizepicks. I might play this in one big slip. Might run it all together and take this 8.5x, $250 would win us $2,125 if you want to lock it in. You guys compare these into double ups if you want. You could take T. Lawrence with Flacco and then Penix with Breece Hall. You can mix and match them however you want. You can play them in 3-mans, take one of them that you don't like out. If you don't like Trevor Lawrence, take him off, play these in a 3-man. You guys can do what you want with them, but that's what I like. That's my opinion on all these games. It is subject to change. Take this with a grain of salt. This is early in the week. But anyways, guys, hope you guys have an awesome day. Hope you guys appreciate the early videos. Drop a comment, leave a like if you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.